we got one big question. Where do you put your syrup?
Fridge.
Not the fridge. Anywhere but the fridge.
Why not the fridge?
Because why would you have warm pancakes, warm waffles, and then just put cold syrup on it?
I feel like with that goes, like it cools it down.
But it's like so refreshing though. You just pour it on top and then you eat
That's
it.
what a drink is for, not syrup.
Yeah, but then you add the milk. You wash it down.
You don't put milk on your pancakes.
You drink milk with your pancakes?
Yeah, but like I don't know.
Really?
Kind of hurt.
I don't drink milk.
At all?
Not really.
You lactose intolerant?
No.
You're missing out on life.
Okay.
All right. Well, welcome back to On the Fly. You know, the podcast that is always up in the air. No pun intended. I'm Rocco Law. He's Casey Farrer.
Thanks for the exclamation, Rocco.
She's Lori Della Croce.
Hey guys.
How we doing today, guys?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm swell.
You know why I am happy today?
Why, Rocco?
Because the Dallas Cowboys,
Lost.
again, their second 3-game losing streak of the season. They lost last night to Chicago.
Rocco, isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful. And you know what? It really is. Because you know what? I love me some Stephen A. Smith on ESPN. I love him.
I love his laughs after the game when
I
they
do.
always lose.
And it's just too good, you know. And you know what I love even more? When he just wears the cowboy hat, he brings in the cigar, and he says, it's an accident waiting to happen. And that's what they really are. The Dallas Cowboys are an accident waiting to happen, and they haven't made a Super Bowl in 27 years. So, Kyle Tinter, I don't want to hear it anymore. You guys are not a Super Bowl contender. Stop wasting our time with your nonsense. But, you know, I'm talking enough too much today, so we've wasted enough time. We have a packed show for you today with your headlines, better not takes. And later, Mr. Patton, one of the goats here at Muppum, will stop by the show. So that should be wicked awesome,
Please
as
don't
they
say
say.
Wicked, Rocco.
Get it, wicked? No?
I don't
Accent?
really get
Just,
it.
just read the first one.
accent?
That's right. All right. Well, anyway, Casey, would you like to start off with the headlines?
Sure, Rocco, how about that? So, you know the New York Knicks basketball team? Well, I guess you consider that a basketball team. Well, they're not good.
No,
They're
no.
dead last.
They've been garbage for 2 decades.
Worst record in the East. What are they going to do?
You know, Casey, I think that's the ultimate question. What should they do?
Just call me Gracie?
No, I said
No.
Casey.
That's all right. All right, continue.
But that's the ultimate question. What should they do? I mean, they've been god-awful for how long? They've had 155 win season in 20 years. I mean, and you can't even blame David Fizz, though, because it's not him.
It's not him. It's just they have absolutely no talent. When your biggest free agent signing of the summer, when Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and all the other names are on the market, and your biggest signing is either Julius Randle or, like, Taj Gibson, like, that's just bad.
It is, but you know what? One thing that you can't knock Steve Mills and, you know, Perry, that those contracts were short. You know, they weren't like they were long-term. They weren't big. So that means
I'm pretty
that
sure Randall got $60 million.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like Randall isn't playing right now the way he should be playing. Randall is an all-star. I think
I
we
would
all
say
know
that. Well, maybe in the East. But I wouldn't say straight out that he has that potential. But the way I see it, the Knicks traded, well, basically the last good team they had, not even average team, like okay team they had was before Carmelo left. Because they had Carmelo, then he left, he got traded, which I don't blame the Knicks for doing it. I mean, writing was kind of on the wall with him in the franchise. But now look at Carmelo averaging over 20 points a game for the Portland Trailblazers, and the Knicks' best player is, who's it, Marcus Morris? I don't know which Morris is on the team.
I don't know anymore, Casey. That's the real question. Like, as a New York Knicks fan, what do you do? And I said this before the season. I've said it to you. I've said it to Lori. I will not be giving James Dolan another dime to his billionaire status or millionaire status, whatever you want to call it.
Good thing I never did.
And I'd rather go see a Nets game because, honestly, they're just so much more fun to watch.
I think I went to a Long Island Nets game last year for the G League, and I think there was more fans in the stands than at a Knicks game.
Well, I don't really like the G League. Lori, what are your thoughts? Huh?
Dude, well, first of all, for the Knicks, it's not on the coach. I mean, he's had a lot of experience. What did he coach for? He coached the Grizzlies, coached
He coached the Heat with LeBron.
Heat with LeBron.
Just-
LeBron supports him and like tweets about him
Yeah.
in the past.
Don't you just love
They have a
LeBron
good
tweets?
relationship.
Don't you like? I love LeBron's tweets.
LeBron's a
Why?
classic
No,
guy.
you know what? You know what?
Taco
Taco
Tuesday.
Tuesday. That's all I know.
That's funny. No, but I like
Taco Tuesday.
No, but I think it was on Instagram. I think it was
Rocco
like
Taco Tuesday.
yeah, but like I think I saw it like on Instagram or somewhere that like he like surpassed a milestone, and then his mom sent him a text message like, "Great job, son, way to go."
That's
The
funny.
guy's
His mom's
about
supporting
to
him.
the guy's about to turn 40. He's a billionaire, and he's still getting
Hey,
texts from his mom.
good
Way to
thing.
go, son.
34, but you know.
I'm glad
Yeah,
his
who's
mom
counting?
says that. Good for him. That's funny.
So Lori, I don't know if you noticed or not, but you know, this guy named Masai Ujiri, you know, he's looking to leave Toronto. I don't think he's looking to leave Toronto, but if you don't know who Masai Ujiri, I can't even say his name, Masai Ujiri is, he had his beginnings with the Denver Nuggets. He drafted Carmelo Anthony. Then he left for Toronto. And at the time, Toronto wasn't good. The North was not known for anything.
Except for losing to LeBron in the playoffs.
True. But they weren't known for anything. But last season, Ujiri gets it done. He trades DeRozan to San Antonio. They give him Kawhi Leonard, a befuddled, whatever you want to call it, that whole...
Played 9 games for them. And
Yeah, like...
I don't even know what the
whatever that
situation
whole mess was. He wants to leave. He wanted to go to LA, which he ended up did going, but he goes to Toronto. He wins the title there.
Different LA, though. We all thought he was going to the Lakers at the time.
Right. And now it's a discussion of, you know, Masai Ujiri is this mastermind that, everybody wants him. He's on the market. Now, people who are saying that, I have to remind you people about the Knicks. I have to remind you, Casey and Lori, that Pat Riley, Rick Pitino, Jeff Van Gundy, Isaiah Thomas, Phil Jackson, and Patrick Ewing have all graced the streets of New York City and Madison Square Garden and still have no rings to show for it. So, I mean, I don't even think it's a matter of person. I don't even think one person in this world could change what the Knicks are going through right now. They are the level of dysfunctionality. They're a hot circle of garbage right now.
I don't know how long it's gonna take for them to build up from where they're at right now.
If they even do.
Yeah, that.
So like just where do you go from right now? Like even like first of all, you know, I think we all get that, you know, the NBA is a business, and so is Madison Square Garden. No one's gonna knock James Dolan as a businessman. The guy is a smart businessman. He raised the Knicks' value up to what was it?
I think it's $4 billion.
$4 billion, and that tops the Forbes list as the most
worth in a franchise.
Right, the most worth in a franchise in all the NBA. So no one's gonna knock him as a businessman, but everybody's gonna knock him as an owner of a team in a city.
Well.
Yeah, in a city where, you know, it's a metropolitan market. It's New York City. It's the center of the universe. It's, you know, you got to do something. You got to do something. You have to do something.
I have a few responses to that, Rocco. First off, over the summer, I know Masai Ujiri, when everyone was thinking, he might leave, the place wasn't New York, it was Washington. Because although it's not basketball related, he is from Africa. He wanted to go to Washington to have more political presence there, so he can do basketball and politics. But I just can't see him leaving Toronto for New York. Toronto may have lost Kawhi. They didn't really change much in the offseason besides that, but they're still very good. Why would he want to leave?
I don't know. Maybe they offer him a lot of money. I mean, that's what happened to Phil Jackson. They offered him, I believe, like $20 million.
And we all saw how that worked out.
Exactly. You know, that was awful. You know, I mean, yes, he drafted Kristaps Porzingis, but that turned out to be
Bad.
a thing of
And they didn't even want Porzingis.
Exactly.
They had wanted Blue Okafor, and he got picked before.
Exactly. You know what? I think my favorite moment of that draft was when that poor Knicks fan who was like 10 years old, he starts crying on national television.
Was that you, Rocco?
No, it wasn't.
No,
Actually,
yeah.
no, but I was in attendance for that draft. And
That was me
fun.
watching the 2019 NFL draft.
Hey, but Jones panned out pretty good. Even though he's hurt right now, but, you know.
Hey, Eli, gotta respect him. Rocco, now it's time for what I'm going to consider my favorite topic of the show. Will Pons finally, possibly, hopefully, thankfully selling the team. Possibly. All theoretical.
It'll be a long time coming.
Haven't won anything since they bought the team in the early 2000s. It's been 20 years pretty much that they've owned it. Have made the playoffs only a handful of times. And Steve Cohen is the billionaire that's trying to buy the team. He's currently a minority stockholder, but wants to purchase up to 80% of the team. So if this happens, Wilpons could be out as soon as 2025. I know that makes me very excited, but how does it make you guys feel?
Well, I think that could be a good start, but that's also in 5 more years.
Exactly, Casey. Like I feel like as a Mets fan, you should be more angry than I mean, I'm a Yankees fan. I don't really care about the Mets. I don't care about Flushing.
No
I'm sorry.
one cares that Garrett Cole met with the Yankees 17 times. We care about the Wilpons leaving.
Yes, well, that could actually potentially be an early Christmas gift for you guys. But you know what? This actually couldn't end up. I'm not gonna lie. This could end up being a nightmare situation in the long run for the Yankees.
5 more for
Why?
the Yankees? Oh, because
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Because
Steve
look,
Cohen likes spending.
right? He likes spending. He's worth $8. What is it?
I think it's 9.6, but I could be wrong.
He's worth $9.6 billion. The man.
He would be the richest MLB owner.
Now, I think we all remember when George Steinbrenner, the late George Steinbrenner, God rest his soul, became owner of the New York Yankees. The guy's a millionaire. Then he was the first owner to really accelerate the meaning of free agency. And
I would agree with that.
and now that Steve Cohen, the billionaire, is about to take over the Mets, I'm a little scared as a Yankees fan because now you know what? Free agency. No one's gonna tell Steve Cohen, no, I won't give you the money to sign this player.
It's going to be like the Lakers and the Clippers. Unlike the NBA, though, there is no max that you can give on a contract because now the Lakers and Clippers are both in they're both in a system where they can go out and give everyone as much money as they want. That's what the Mets hopefully will do because we all know that Wilpon's history of buying, and it's pretty much one page. Like the Yankees is like 14 pages front and back. Wilpon's like John Mayberry Jr., Yoenis Cespedes, all guys who were like, we don't really want you, but like we're gonna give you money anyway because it makes our fans happy.
Right,
So
but
it looks like we're doing something.
But see, this is the problem now. But I don't think it's a problem for the Yankees, but I think it's a problem now for the Mets to finally put forth a gradual effort in free agency.
I feel like they did last year though, because I was at the spring training practices early in spring training this year, which I normally go to in February, and while I was there, I saw Brodie Van Wagenen, and some fan had asked him, not asked him, but he proclaimed, "Brodie, thank you for finally making an investment into this team that I know a lot of people haven't been able to do in the past years." And he goes, "Well, the Mets have always been buying on the market. Just this year, I think we did a little bit more, but we buy every year." And I just laughed in my socks when I heard that.
Yeah, because it just makes you realize, what do we have to offer? What do we have to offer? Like, listen, the Yankees, Brian Cashman, he is a mastermind. He knows how to craft these deals,
Yeah.
you know. Like I said to Laura, I think I said to Laura earlier today, how would it feel like if the Wilpons had a business dinner at Buffalo Wild Wings?
No.
You just brought listen to this. Theoretically, you bring Steven Strasburg, you bring Garrett Cole, all coming off great appearances in the World Series.
The Steinbrenners would do it at Morton's, and
Yeah, they go to Morton's, or you do it at Buffalo Wild Wings. Like
Yeah.
that's what I think of the Wilpons. They would be the people to bring a high level free agent that's worth millions and millions of dollars to Buffalo Wild Wings. To have a
according
business.
to
Not very smart.
yeah,
It's not
Nori and I are in the same business class, and according to our teacher, Mr. Slattery, he actually calls the Wilpons the coupons, which is pretty creative.
Because they're cheap, but see, now this is the challenge for Steve Cohen. If he does become the owner,
What?
he has
Spending?
yes, it has to not only spending. Yeah, we're gonna give you certain X amount of dollars. That's great, but
I mean, if
what are you
if
gonna?
know what's in his pocket? That shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, but what are you gonna? How are you gonna convince Garrett Cole? How are you gonna convince all these free agents to come to Flushing? I mean, Casey, to be honest, the Mets don't have a history of great Octobers. The Yankees, however, do. So that's appealing to people. That's appealing to other people. It wasn't appealing to Manny Machado or Bryce Harper. Manny Machado went
Someone sounds a little salty now.
I'm not, because Manny Machado, you go to San Diego, and now you're on a desolate team.
San Diego will be good. I don't know if you saw
in 8 years. In 8 years,
They will be a playoff team by the end of 2022.
Casey, I'm just saying, man. Like this is.
I don't know if you saw the trades they've done in the last week.
Yes, they have some good trades, but they're getting clueless pieces that they don't know how to work back in the trade deal, which I don't understand. It's just the complexity of all it. Now we're going to get to girls basketball. I know Lori's going to enjoy this.
Yes. sir.
You know, this is the podcast where we do see some high school athletes. But the girls' season did start on Tuesday, the Wanto Holiday Tournament. You guys came in fourth.
How did that go, Lori?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, we did pretty well. I mean, every year we come out with this tournament with the top 3 teams of the county. They go far every year. We played Wantagh, Island Trees. This year was Manhasset, but first game was against Wantagh. All the teams are a conference above us too, but we lost only by like 20. but
Only by 20.
But we came out with Island Trees yesterday and lost by 11. But we were tied with them most of the game, and that was really well for us. I mean, it's still only our second game, but
What could be improved?
there's a lot of little things. Little things like boxing out, stuff like that each player can improve on. But also as a whole, our offense, like we were a little stale in that game, but that's what can improve.
Now, I think the big takeaway is that, Coach Mulvey, he's had 2 decades of experience here. It's about most probably going to be about not his 20th season, close to his 20th season.
Yeah.
But he has a long history of orchestrating efficient teams. So, does this point to some success?
Well, so like I said before, he always finds a way to win. He's got that certain mentality that and bond with the kids that he always is pushing us individually, stopping practice in between just to improve on the little things. And we end up, last year even losing girls throughout the season last year, conference champs. So he finds a way, and we're coming out strong with we're still rebuilding, from 2 years ago.
I mean, yeah, but you could say last year was rebuilding. I mean,
yeah, last year too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we could say this, but you went down with an injury, right? You were going to be a starting point guard, but there was still Caroline Keene. Mm-hmm. She was in 3-point specialist. She carried the outside presence.
Yeah, we had scores.
Yeah. And then sophomore Julia Rose, and she comes out of the blue. She comes not out of the blue, but she does come out of the blue because no one's going to really.
Say that, Rocco.
I mean, no one was really going to expect her to be Conference A1 Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, until yeah,
coming into last year. I mean, especially with Garden City in the conference, that's tough. But I think you guys find a way to repeat this year.
Also, let me just interject. When you lost your all your seniors, not all of them, 2 years ago, you guys only lost a few players last year, so you're still going to be. This team is still going to be fine.
Right, and that team this year. That team 2 years ago, that we were really stacked. We didn't even win conference champs.
Yeah, you did.
So
because I mean, the year before, I mean, you had the likes of Mary Pagonis, you had Julie Anderson, you had all these seniors who had been through everything. They've been had experience. They went to county semifinal, but now you don't. You guys win the conference, so I think that's just a level.
Yeah,
like
it comes down to us. Even Mulvey said, and it takes a lot from him and H to give us credit, but he's been saying that we've been working hard as a team, and it's been benefiting us.
Yeah, I think Coach Mulvey finds a way to find you guys to repeat as champs.
Yeah.
But we're gonna stick with basketball. We're gonna head to boys basketball.
It's been a basketball-filled episode so far, Rocco.
It has, and they started their season home game on Wednesday against Mineola. They I wouldn't say ran Mineola.
Unlike the girls that won that.
Sorry. A little bit of shock.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
but they did. I mean, you can't say they did ran Mineola out the building, but they didn't really. It was a close game for a little bit, but then they got out of hand.
Yeah, they came out.
But I think currently, I do think this season all eyes is going to be on boys basketball. I think that's a fair statement to say. I mean, let's start with Makai Beckett is back.
Yeah, gotta start with him.
He's easily a top 15 scorer in the county. Richie Vaccaro was a freshman last year and was all conference. He brings just an athletic prowess that you don't find here too much on Long Island, and especially in the sport of basketball.
Richie's going to be I would say, great replacement, if not a better overall player than what their point guard situation has been in the past. Yeah.
Especially being young, he's already got experience. He's got all the technicalities down. He knows what he's doing out there.
And you also mentioned Makai. He got what, 27 points, 29 points in that game?
Last year his season high was 35. So if you scoring 35 in a high school game is pretty impressive.
Yeah, when you got to score like that, you already got it.
Especially as last year he was only a sophomore. So
yeah,
I think
for 50.
Yeah, and I think last year you couldn't criticize, but I guess you could say they kind of faltered a little bit. I mean, last year
there were chemistry issues.
Fell through, yeah.
They still had last year's seniors who were good. They facilitated Kieran Gilroy, Corey Lichman, Zach DeAmbra. But now you have you have the seniors, Jack Fontanella, outside presence, Greg Pohl, inside presence, and you still have Richie and Mackay. So that's gonna do a lot of damage. But I think again, all eyes are gonna be on basketball because there has been no banners added to that banner in the gym
been pretty
for 50 years. That's 50 decades.
I know we mentioned that in the last episode that they're gonna need to do something in the near future.
Yeah.
But this team has a lot of seniors, has a lot of experienced players, but you can't just look at them. You got to look at also who else is in the conference. And we know a lot of other teams lost good players. So I feel like this team, will be able to at least compete for something.
Yeah, they'll definitely put damage on other people, other teams.
And you could say that this program can be possibly put back on the map. And I'm not saying in a bad way, but I'm just saying that it could be put back on the map because
no one wants to be put on in a bad way.
Right, but like this team's gonna be fun to watch. They're very athletic. They're free. They're loose, and their defense is pretty good. Greg Pohl heads that, but offense is definitely with Vaccaro, Fontanella, and Beckett. So they're gonna be able to do a lot of damage this year. Really, a lot of damage.
Yeah, they're definitely a strong team.
So he ran the Boston, New York City, and Marine Corps marathons as one of the staple teachers here at MEPM. And a diehard Boston fan. Can't forget that part. We cannot forget that part. Now with us, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Patton. Welcome to the show.
Yo, thank you so much for having me here today, man.
Now, first things first, because this is an important belief, whether you're a New York or Boston sports fan. Me, Lori, Casey, we're all New Yorkers, and there is a long list of legends from this town. And we all have our favorites, but generally, who is Boston's most worshipped athlete?
I think you have to say the sport. I mean, you look at Boston's Mount Rushmore of sports. We're not just privy to have one god or one goat. We have a Tom Brady, but we also worship a Larry Bird, and we also have Robert G. Orr, the greatest hockey player ever to live. We have a Ted Williams. We have David Ortiz. So, and then you can't forget. You have a Paul Pierce. You know what I mean? You have a Ray Bourque, you have a Cam Neely, you have a Patrice Bergeron, you have a Chara. The list goes on, my friend. So I think that, when you look at Boston sports, I think the ones that stand out are the ones that embrace the city.
I'm just going to point out something real quick. Rocco wrote down 4 names, one from each sport, that he thought you would say, and those were the first 4 you said.
Absolutely.
But I'm surprised you didn't say Bill Russell. I was going to add him to the list.
I think Bill Russell's the iconic. You know what I mean? I think
he's the old time.
Then you go generation. If we were to sit here and just talk basketball, you start going through the decades of Boston Celtics championships. But growing up, in the 80s, it was Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, the Parrish, the Chief, DJ, Danny Ainge, So those are who you grew up loving. Just like if a kid today grew up watching the Bruins, they would have pasta when it was Pasternak, absolutely. But when I grew up, it was Bam Bam Cam Neely, and Ray Bourque. You know what I mean? I had Andy Mogan, Reggie Lemlin. Today you have Rask. But then a couple of years ago, how can you forget a Tim Thomas?
Now, I think, before Lori gets to her part, but I think one thing has to be said. Where were you the night in 2004 when the Red Sox broke the curse?
I was at home. I was teaching at MEPM. I was home, and I was reading essays. And the Red Sox were down 3-0, and then they won Game 4, and they won Game 5, and they won Game 6.
And they won Game 7.
And they won Game 7. But I remember, and this is all before the World Series, and I remember reading kids' homework, and they would sly in little sentences in their homework, be like, imperialism is the Red Sox suck, and and it was so funny that I kept my mouth shut, and then I remember coming in the morning after Game 7 with just smiles.
At least they were. I wonder if one of them was a Giants fan.
I don't even know.
Oh man, I can't live that down.
But I have been down here. The sad thing is, not that it's sad. MEPM is home, and MEPM always will be home. But I have been down here for almost every single Boston championship. I was still in Boston in 2001 when the Patriots won in the last number of decades. Everything else has been New York.
All right, Mr. Patton. So you've coached the district hockey team, the Bulldogs, right? For
yes, ma'am.
How long was that?
It was 12 years.
Oof. How was that? How was that experience?
It was probably one of the most single greatest chapters of my life.
Wow. Good. good.
Did you play hockey in high school?
Yeah, I was a very bad hockey player. I was like third line goon. I could hit very well, and I probably spent way too much time in the penalty box. I was not what.
Oh, you were.
So you were the guy they would
guy in
sacrifice to
the
get the power
box.
play?
Yes.
A little bit of a Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, a little bit. You know what I mean? It was the game that my fantasies weren't as good as what these kids could do on the ice today that I coached, and I think that really kind of changed my philosophy about coaching. But like school always came first, character came first, community came first, and then if those kind of happened, the product was great on the ice. And it was for a lot of seasons.
How were each season? Like, what would you say was the best or best record?
I mean, you're talking about in 2011, the Bulldogs were state finalists. You know what I mean? So in my 12 years, we went to 5 state tournaments, 1 state finals, 2 or 3 semifinal appearance. One time we shouldn't have even been up there. We got wiped out. But then, and you think on, a Nassau County level, you're talking about we were 2-time county finalists. Semifinals a bunch of times, number 1 in the conference another time, and it all hit the mark in 2016 when that team became the first Nassau County Championship hockey team in school history, and that was magical.
And do you still follow the team though?
Like you don't dedicate 12 years of your life to something to want to see it fall apart. And it was great the other night. Now I'm a very bad CYO basketball coach. I coach my kids now, and it was great. I was coaching against another group of kids in the Massapequa community, and a guy came over to me after the game, and it was Bob Youngling. Bob Youngling was the man that started the Bulldogs, that brought it to school-sponsored level, and then resigned and gave me the program, because one of the conditions of it becoming school-sponsored was they wanted a teacher to be the coach. So Bob brought it to this level that I took it from, and then I brought it to the level it was at when I resigned. And Bob and I were never friends, but we just had this mutual respect and love for what we envisioned the Bulldogs to be. And of course, with Pat Baraglia as the new coach, he is a Mepham alumni. His kids go to this school. He lives in the community. He was in like the BMRH, the roller hockey thing, Hall of Fame. Like, I want to see Coach Baraglia take it to that next level.
Yeah, I feel like they just keep getting up there.
I think the Bulldogs have traditionally always been like one of the top programs on Long Island, but they have to be the best. Like how you guys said earlier in sports, if Mepham basketball is going to do something, or girls basketball is going to do something, boys or girls, you want to beat the best. Mm-hmm. You don't want to just be that fluke year that the other teams were down and you did it. So when the Bulldogs won in 2016, it wasn't against like Bethpage. It was against Long Beach in overtime on a penalty shot.
And Long Beach is one of the best teams in the county.
They always are.
Yeah.
So if Long Beach isn't Nassau County champs every year, they're in the finals every year. You know what I mean? They're the
Garden City of hockey.
I agree with that. they play with some toughness, and they're one of Joe Brand does a wonderful job coaching over there. But you want to beat the best.
Now I think before we move on, do you think we will see a return?
I think that I could never say no. I mean, I told you guys earlier, I have it. In 2016, I got it tattooed on my leg. The boys asked me if they ever won a championship, would I do that? And I was like, I would do anything for those kids. I think that I resigned not for lack of love of the game, but it was my family changed. And I couldn't do the Bulldogs to the level that they needed to be done, or I couldn't do my kids to the level they needed to get done. If I did them both, I would have done one half-assed. And I didn't want to do that because it wasn't fair to my kids or for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs are the best and they deserve the best. So one day, maybe. We'll see.
Also, I was going to ask, do you think it helps having, it's all 3 schools, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that helps, get a good selection of kids?
I think, listen, high school sports are high school sports, and you can have a great season or a bad season pending on who comes out for your program. I think what I was very fortunate to have for a lot of the years is you're pulling from just more. I think the hardest thing though is you're talking earlier about like chemistry and team chemistries, and you're saying earlier, Lauren, you said earlier that you had stacked teams, but you didn't go far. It's about how a team operates and works together. I think one of the toughest things for a Bulldogs coach is always going to be how do you mesh a Kennedy Calhoun and a Mepham player and make them not Kennedy Calhoun and Mepham or a Pirate, a Colt, or what's the other one? Cougar. How do you not make them each one of those, and how do you make them dogs? Mm-hmm. So it was kind of cool at some of the Bulldog games back in 2016, that area. You didn't hear like a Mepham chant or a Kennedy chant in the stands. You heard Belmore Merrick. And so if you really kind of believe that the district is united, the Bulldogs are probably one of the best things that really united it. You know, on a Monday night, you go down to the barn and you sit in the stands and you watch the Bulldogs game, and there are Kennedy, Calhoun, and Mepham kids all sitting together. And I think that's what was something special about the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they always have an electric crowd. Can't blame the fans for that. But moving on to more of a, I would say, professional level, although Bulldogs obviously professional. But we're New Yorkers, and obviously you're Bostonian.
I don't hold that against you guys.
And as Rocco has coined the word Bostonian.
Yes.
So in the 21st century, it's kind of said that since Boston has won all these championships in all the sports, that they've eclipsed New York as the best sports city in America. Do you agree with this?
Of course. How could I disagree with that? You know, you're talking 6 NFL championships, Super Bowls. You're talking 1 NBA title. You're talking 1 Stanley Cup with 2 other Stanley Cup appearances, and then you're talking the Red Sox have 4 World Series. I mean, and we forgot to say that the Boston Cannons lacrosse team won a championship too. And you won a national championship in hockey.
Fair enough. You have great points, but I just don't think any other town can eclipse New York. I just don't.
No, one of my problems is with New York. You have too many teams.
2 teams, at least 2 teams in each sport.
Absolutely, and I think that's a problem. I think that divides the area.
That's also with
but it makes it fun because
population.
Rocco's a stupid Yankees fan and I'm a smart Mets fan. So
I mean, and I get that, but but you're both New Yorkers, though. You know what I mean? That's my only point. You know.
Yeah. And I think you have to blame the market. New York New York's the center of the universe. I mean, that's
absolutely. But I do think it is, as much as I despise New York sports, I do think it's very important. I do. I think that it's important for New York sports to be relevant. For the Giants and the Jets to be horrible is not good. It's bad. For I want to see the Mets do well. You know what I mean? The Yankees have to do well. You know, but for no one to acknowledge the Knicks.
The Knicks were once on the verge of becoming,
but they weren't.
In
they were on the verge.
You know,
remember 10 years ago?
I will say though, no bothers me though that the Jets and the Giants play in New Jersey.
It does. The Meadowlands. I don't get that.
No, then why are
Buffalo Bills are the best team in New York.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But for the Islanders to be doing well, and I don't follow them at all. But the Islanders, people forget they won 4 cups in a row. They're a storied franchise. They need to do well.
The Bills also went to 4 Super Bowls in the 90s.
That didn't work out, though.
The only New York team.
Honestly,
the New Jersey team beat them once.
Yeah.
There's just so many people, and everything's getting divided. Teams support other, it's just separation of.
Yeah, but I guess it just comes down to what you like. You know, I mean, if there was another Boston pro sports team,
but there wouldn't be.
Can you imagine there was one team and everyone would support that one team?
I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference. That when the Patriots aren't in it, it's like football season's over. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I feel like you see a New Yorker and be like, the Jets are out, but I'm gonna watch the Giants because I'm a New Yorker. Once my teams are out, the season's over for that sport.
I would never find myself watching the Yankees, but that's just me.
Well, I never find myself watching the Mets. That's just it.
And you'll never find me watching either of them. So that's just me.
And there's so many diehard people, diehard fans that they won't split for that.
Yeah, no, and I think that's good.
No, but you know what? I'm not gonna lie, Mr. Penn. One thing that did hit me as even a football fan.
Tell me.
I remember when it was a couple years ago. It was the Eagles and it was the Pats in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And
it was the one the Patriots lost.
Right. Okay. Yes, they did lose. But before this, I think a Patriots fan put a Tom Brady jersey on the Rocky statue. Now that kind of hit home to me. That kind of hurt me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I felt that that was a sign of disrespect.
Rock, are you secretly from Philadelphia?
Well, you want to know a great sign of respect? After that game when Tom Brady lost and his son was crying, Tom Brady could have said whatever he wanted to say, and he said, "Son, no matter what, sometimes you don't win them all, but yet it shows how hard you put the effort in."
He should have said, "Son, don't worry, we're going to win next year."
And he might have said that after the fact, but I think even in a teachable moment like that as a parent, that sometimes the results are always on what you want them to be, but can you be proud of the effort that you put into that. And I think that's something that an important lesson, whether it's the classroom, your own kids at home, or on the field of the ice, wherever you guys are, or the courts.
And so I think now we should bring it to one of your teams, the Red Sox, who did not do so hot this season.
No, I think they were in their hangover from 18.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to be coming next for the organization?
You know what? I think like Boston in the last couple of years, the Red Sox have an amazing, beautiful history, and their community always supports them. I see them, refocusing and doing what they got to do, and being back in a competitive thing. Like I said, it's most important that they're competing. It's good for baseball.
But now, like, what do you think of an organization like that, like the Red Sox? They're kind of crumbling here, Miss Penn. Like, there's no deniability of that. They missed the playoffs. They fell third to the division, and they fired their GM, David Dombrowski. And they're on the verge of trading one of their major stars, Mookie Betts.
Well, we talked about earlier, too, that sometimes character of a team and chemistry of a team is something that we don't necessarily always see what's going on.
You can't always see in a locker room.
And I like to look at sometimes that, and we've seen in all sports, you could have that one person that's a complete stud and the team does nothing. Who was the kid that played for the Washington Nationals and they traded him to Philadelphia?
Bryce Harper. He signed a free agent.
Right, but think of that.
Yeah,
That dude was a stud.
Well,
right? But he's supposed to be. I'm not a huge baseball guy, but he's supposed to be like a guy, right?
Yeah.
And they move him from the team, and what happens to that team? They win a championship.
Right, which I think was funny because you wouldn't try to chase.
He did say he was going to bring a DC to World Series to DC, so.
I think that's
I don't think he meant
also
like that, but
when you bring someone in so good and you expect so much from them that it falls through.
Yep.
I think that happens way too much.
And I think there's pressure for playing in some of these markets too, that you are quote unquote the savior of this market, or that you're expected to do that. And I think that's a lot of weight that goes on shoulders sometimes.
Now, it's clear, but I really, really want to get into this one because it is essential because it's really clear that my Yankees and the Red Sox rivalry is probably one of the best rivalries in sports, hands down. I think you agree.
Yep.
Now, I'm a Yankees fan. So is Lori. Casey is not because he's a disappointing Mets fan.
because I'm smart.
Well, you should be happy that Buckner missed that ground ball in '86.
Hey, let's not get personal.
Hey, we're not getting personal.
You chose the wrong time, Roger.
Right, and listen, I get we'll never live down 04, these ALCS when they were up 3-0. And it was actually worse than... Actually, it wasn't worse. 0-1 was worse against the Diamondbacks. That was worse. And, the curse was broken.
Big unit.
I get it. But I do think my Yankees still have a leg up in this rivalry. Would you agree?
If you want to talk simple rings, absolutely.
Well, not the rings. We're not talking about the rings. We're talking about history. We're talking about the history.
The history is just... I think the history makes the sport. And I think that's important. I think the history is what sometimes brings generations together. That you can sit down there and you can talk with your grandpa, you can talk to your father, you can talk to your little nephew. You can talk to people if they buy into that love. And I think that kind of, it'd be like, oh, I remember my aunt giving me Bobby Orr records. And to hear Bobby Orr, I was too young to ever to see him play, but that always kind of brought us together. So I think that's what the rivalry does.
Why do you think the rivalry is so special, though?
It's Boston and New York. You're talking
Two
about
of the biggest cities.
Absolutely, two of the best markets. Two histories that have cities that have loads and loads of history, and neither of them want to be second best.
Right.
So, and I think competition brings. And if you think of it, whether you're competing with your teammate, or you're competing against a Garden City, or you're competing with that kid in your class, whatever, I think competition is a good thing. It can bring something out of you that you never knew you had. So I think with the Boston and the Yankees rivalry, or any rivalry, if it's a true rival, it's gonna bring your level to another, bring your game to another level. And I think you've seen that with the history of the two of them.
Now I think this has to be said. What is your favorite brawl?
My favorite brawl? I love it when Veritek laid out A-Rod, who never earned his stripes. At home plate. I had a drop kick.
100% agree with that.
I have a Dropkick Murphys t-shirt that I have from their concert that has that in the back.
Okay, you can say what you want about A-Rod. That's a whole other story for another day. But...
Well, what about when Pedro threw the old guy down?
Oh, Don. Wait, Don who? Oh, I just had it on my head.
He was the old guy. He came
running.
He just Pedro. Pedro was like...
Pedro said nah, threw him to the side. And
Pedro was like, eat first base line.
Honestly, the Red Sox and Yankees rivalry, whenever they play,
Awesome.
It's a journalist field day. It really is.
All right. So before we end this interview, I think some of Boston culture has to be answered before we.
Let's go.
You gotta
right.
understand the Boston
First,
way.
Do all Bostonians have an accent?
Only the beautiful ones.
Who do you mean by that? I mean, there's the
Who
Wahlbergs
qual-
have come from there. I mean, who else? Who else?
Yeah, who
You got
qualifies?
Ben Affleck, you know what I mean? You got Matt Damon.
Oh, Matt Damon did come.
How do you like them apples?
Damon did come.
Right? You know what I mean? Like,
It's like I could never watch another movie.
think about
But
those.
no, Damon had some good
Mark
movies.
Wahlberg, Donnie Wahlberg, you know, Aerosmith is from Aerosmith's from Boston. You get some great things from Boston.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh, dude, I got good vibrations, baby. Fit 45 now, man.
Rocco mentioned this before, but is it actually wicked awesome?
It's wicked awesome.
Who do you think the first person? Like, what do you think they were thinking when they?
I think it was Paul Revere, and he was like, the British are wicked close. As he was riding through, man. It's going to be wicked bad. We got to fight. And then they went to Concord and Lexington, and it was all over from that. So I'm going to say Paul Revere was the first guy that said wicked.
I don't. Why is it a
That's
thing?
wicked.
Why?
I don't know. It's wicked as wicked.
It's like parking your car in Harvard Yard. Oh wait,
Technically, right? Technically, I used to work at Harvard. My father was a contractor and I painted. And you technically cannot park your car in Harvard Yard unless it's parents' weekend when they're moving you in the door.
Oh, that sentence.
Casey's
That
just-
sentence is funny.
No, it's
Say
not
it
funny.
again.
It's wicked funny. Or you could say it's wicked pissing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
True,
that's
true.
another
It's
Boston
wicked
thing.
funny.
fair enough.
All right. Is every Bostonian part of the donkey religion?
Well, what did you call it earlier, Rocco?
I looked it up. It's also known as a Dunkin' Donuts worshiper because that's
But what did you call it? Like you?
a donkey.
A donkey. I was
Rocco,
like, what's a
don't trust
donkey?
everything
Yeah,
on
it's
the
like-
internet.
You know, like I think I am a proud worshiper of Dunkin' Donuts. The best Dunkin' Donuts coffee is the one that you used to get going to the rink. You go to the rink at nighttime and Bulldogs will be playing at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. You pull into the Dunkin' Donuts, you get a large regular, and you sipping it while the boys are getting ready, and you're like, all right, let's go. There's nothing better than a Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Do you ever get it iced?
No.
Never.
And no Starbucks, nothing else. So like I'll have 1 or 2 cups of Dunkin' Donuts a day, but like when I go on vacation, if I go anywhere else, like I won't drink coffee.
Right.
It has to be Dunkin' Donuts. If they don't have Dunkin' Donuts, you're not happy.
That's true. You know,
Wait, hold on. Lori, why would you get it iced in an ice hockey rink?
Exactly. That's why I asked.
I mean,
Ever an occasion if he's if he's not
Yeah,
at
but
the rink.
not even in the summer. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
in the summer.
yeah, but that's
you know,
but
like-
that goes back to the debate before where do you place your syrup? The
your
refrigerator, the
syrup.
cabinet. Where do you
My
put your
syrup?
syrup?
Yeah, no, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
They say refrigerator. I say you don't need to put it in the refrigerator.
No, my kids put it in the cabinet.
Ugh.
All right, split 2.
Mr.
Yeah,
Flintstone.
I mean, I'm not a big syrup guy.
No, but I have to
Yeah.
agree with you there. I think that's one thing we can agree on is that Dunkin' Donuts over Starbucks.
Yes,
Also, do you have milk with your pancakes in the morning?
I love milk.
Do you?
I
Because
like-
they both have
Lori's the
milk
other
with their
person out here.
breakfast.
Dairy. So
Alright.
dairy.
I like milk. I like milk like
the
with a
calcium's
cold,
wrong
like
for your
cold,
bones.
like and then like.
What about
cold-
warm milk?
No, like a cold glass of milk with like cold Oreos or cold
Yeah,
like Chips
yeah.
Ahoys. That's what's up.
All right.
Yeah. All right. I
It's
see. It
It's
is
wicked.
wicked.
Wicked pisser. Any other Boston lingo that you got?
We did, Lori.
All right. A Yui.
It's a bang and a Yui. You're doing a U-turn.
Can you call yourself a Bostonian if you've never done a Yui?
No. You got every Bostonian's
That's
banged
what
you.
qualifies?
That's one of the many things that qualify. You know, there are certain things that are that's from being from Boston. Like, do you know what a triple decker is?
No.
It's a 3-story house. What about a
I was
packy?
gonna say a burger.
No,
hungry.
no. What about a packy?
Oh, no.
A packy would be a liquor store. What about a bubbler?
A what?
Bubbler.
Is it like a bath?
No, it's not a bath. It's a water fountain.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a water fountain. Jimmy's.
Sprinkles.
There you go.
No, he
Wait a second.
knew
Wait.
that.
What color sprinkles?
Green.
Red.
What? No. Chocolate sprinkles.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
You're thinking
Chocolate
of Red
sprinkles.
Sox
Yep.
Celtics.
Chocolate sprinkles. Do you know that you can wear something and use something at the same time? So
Multitask.
multitask, right? But men can wear khakis and they can also drive their car with khakis. Khakis and khakis.
Oh.
Get it?
Oh, got it.
You hear it?
Yeah.
You got that right. It's exotic.
It's wicked.
Wicked.
Oh man, it's too good. Really, is too good. Yeah, but so you're saying it's like a rite of passage driving in Boston. It's like
A
doing a
Yui.
Yui.
Dude, yeah, and you don't use your blinkers.
Oh, see now that's dangerous. Now
No,
that-
but people see you turning, just watch out.
but that might call
Have you-
a pile up.
Huh?
Did you ever get used to that and not get caught not using your blinker?
I don't use my blinkers down here.
Okay.
Just asking for a friend, totally not Rocco. But how do you spell Yui?
Yui, I don't know. I'm not an English teacher.
Guess.
U-E.
Wait. So what you say is that even the cops down there are accustomed to people just not turning on their blinkers?
Yes. Do you know what we have down there that you guys don't have down here? Rotaries.
Oh.
Rotaries. So the only rotary that you guys have is down like at Jones Beach.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yes, and you guys have like lines and all this weird stuff. You just in Boston, there's rotaries all over the place. You just go.
It's fair enough.
That'd
Okay.
be fun.
Well, I mean, now that you live in New York, what are your thoughts on New York driving? That's I think that's the real question.
I think New
It's
Yorkers
bad
can
everywhere you
drive.
go.
It's I
I
mean,
think it's bad no matter where.
The more south you go, I would say. So Boston's more south than New York geographically, but like it just gets worse.
Well, I mean, I feel like people down south are like nicer.
I was in Florida last week for Thanksgiving, and I can definitely disagree with that. It was
Really?
awful. Yeah, they don't know how to drive.
Maybe it's the area I was in.
Maybe.
Boca with all the old people.
yeah. Well, Mr. Pan, this has been a great interview. Thanks
Guys,
for having.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for your time. I appreciate being
Thank
here,
you.
man. You guys are amazing.
And I don't think you know this, but you are the first ever teacher to appear on a BMU Sports show ever. This is ever.
Casey, it's wicked awesome.
It's wicked
It
awesome.
is wicked awesome. So thanks, Mr. Pan. Appreciate
Listen,
it.
my pleasure.
All right, guys, that was Mr. Penn. But now we're on to our next segment, Bet or Not. This is where we all ask a question, and we either say bet, meaning you agree, with emphasis, I like to say,
With
emphasis.
or nah, you completely disagree. Now, first question: does Alabama look human again?
Bet.
I say bet.
I said bet too.
I didn't hear the emphasis for it.
Bet.
There we go.
But why?
I mean, they're
2-loss team. I think they're down to 9 in the rankings.
They're number 12 in the nation right now.
Number 12.
And that is their lowest
12.
ranking. That's their lowest ranking
in
since
years since the college football players
Right.
even started.
like since Nick Saban joined the program. Like since he made
Since
Alabama.
Nick Saban existed.
Yeah, like since he put Alabama on the map.
No, they were on the map before that.
Yeah, they were on the map, but he turned them into the Patriots. He really did.
Right now, yes, but they've done this before.
But seriously, okay, so like my favorite game every year for Alabama is Auburn Bowl. I meant the Iron Bowl
With Auburn.
With Auburn, and that really just comes down to that's my favorite game of the year. But like we said, Alabama is no longer in college football playoff contention. Nick Saban 12 is their lowest mark.
Auburn's going to win the football game.
Yeah, I mean Alabama's not going to make the college football playoff, and Nick Saban has to do some serious recruiting last year because he's been held to a standard. He's been held to a standard, Lori.
Right.
Like
Standard.
And the standard, like
And
we
Nick
don't.
Saban is not standard. We
Right,
know this.
he's not standard. If you ever see his press conferences, he's not standard.
He's basically Bill Belichick of college football.
He is. Now next one,
Who goes first?
right?
Gase or Shermer?
So if you mean firing, well, you can't really say bet or not for this, but like
You can't.
That's what I was
But
thinking
I
earlier.
It's a pressing question. It's a pressing question.
I'm
First-
thinking it's Adam Gase.
Really? I
Really,
said Shermer.
I'm gonna say Shermer too.
I believe that. No, I'm changing to Shermer now because I remember that the Jets.
Oh, get out.
You changed it mid. You changed
No,
it mid.
because I just remembered that a few weeks ago the Jets ownership had said that Gase was going to start 2020 with the Jets. Shermer has not been given that guarantee. So
Oh, you're right.
if you assume who's going to be guaranteed longer, Gase is guaranteed longer, meaning Shermer has the.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
if you want to go with the process elimination way, you go with Casey. But let's go with
But
me.
also-
and with Lori and me, like
Also, I mean, I feel like the Giants have a rep to keep, and like they're gonna work and make moves to improve.
Well, we know they're both awful right now.
But the Jets have like continuously been kind of awful.
right, and
so-
they're both awful. And like, there's like nothing you could say because like, yes, Daniel Jones has produced. We've seen he's gonna have a 20 touchdown season. That's good.
It's
As a
also
rookie.
2-8.
How long would you say the Jets have just not been good?
Forever.
Forever since
1969.
Okay, what about the Giants?
Giants. There's a difference,
Giants-
right? The Giants had 2 miracle Super Bowl runs with Eli
With
Manning.
9 and 7.
Right.
Yeah, most people say he's not a Hall of Famer. I say he's borderline.
I think he's going to get in because he has 2 Super Bowls.
Right, but
Yeah.
and besides, I don't think people understand that the 2 Super Bowls they did win in the 21st century was against the Patriots. And the first time was when they were almost about to be the first undefeated team since Dan Marino and the Dolphins.
Sorry, Mr. Patton.
So, like, I just, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean,
That doesn't relate to Shermer. That relates to Eli Manning, who, by the way, is starting this Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles.
He is. That's been big reports, and we're happy to see Eli again. But I'd rather much see Daniel Jones work his magic again. I mean, yes, the interceptions is a problem, but he's gonna throw for another 20 touchdown season, and he's just a special kid to see.
Have I ever told you my reaction when I found out that they drafted Daniel Jones? It was exactly when I was at Boston Red Sox game. Once again, a Mr. Patton reference.
Oh, well,
And,
I had to bring up the Red Sox, didn't you?
I never said they were good.
So why you guess red sprinkles before?
I kind of, yeah.
Because I kind of just went
Kinda,
green with
kinda,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, because they were wicked awesome, right, Casey?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was at a Red Sox game. My phone died. I was on my dad's phone, and I see number 6 pick in the draft, Daniel Jones, and I wanted to throw my phone onto the field so badly. I was not happy.
Okay, so I mean, to be honest, you're right. I wasn't happy either. I thought they were either going to get Haskins or Murray, but it all worked out in the end. I think Daniel Jones is a quarterback.
He would have been there at 17. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there would have been no guarantee.
All right. Will the Yankees land a big FA pitcher?
FA
Free agent.
free agent.
I know.
Why'd you
Did
say
I have
it?
to say it? I thought I was gonna-
It's okay.
Should I just say it?
Yeah, you can abbreviate it. Sorry. Yeah. So FA pitcher meeting.
Marco, what's your answer, you Yankee lover?
Yes.
I think yes.
Bet.
And I'm not.
You mean bet.
Yes, right.
With
Bet.
emphasis.
With emphasis, bet. Because Casey, listen.
Good, go.
Listen.
Strasburg, they all met, right? Reports saying everything went well. And Garrett was a first round pick back in 2008 with the Yankees.
First
but
overall
but that's not going to be.
eventually.
But that's not
Did you
going to
say
be
Garrett Cole?
Garrett Cole.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, good, yeah.
And that's good. I'm not saying that's going to play into any of the signings, but I think to him winning takes into account to where he goes. So if he wants to go play in Southern California,
He would have just gone back to Houston then, if we're talking about Garrett Cole.
if he wants to go play in SoCal, Casey, let him be. But listen, when it comes down to it, he's 29. He's in his prime. His last 3 seasons have been great. That's been the best of his career. And you know for a fact that if AJ Hinch had pitched him in Game 7, the Astros probably could have won. But no,
I don't know. The road teams were just something special, but
they were. But it is what it is, Casey. And you know what? The Yankees, they know themselves. Cashman, Steinbrenner, they know that they need to get pitching. That their rotation was not good until the end of the season last year, where it finally stepped up and they made the ALCS for the second time in 3 years. But this year, if they get Garrett Cole, they're going to be expected to be in the World Series. They have to be the favorites.
well, I expected. Well, I'm sorry, Laura. You
No,
go.
I mean they lost to Garrett Cole and the Astros. I mean, why wouldn't they want to take him?
They did, and you know what? And it was more heart-wrenching, Lori, about about this year's ALCS.
it was beautiful.
The KC was beautiful to me. I'm pretty sure we discussed it in the last episode, but like I said,
when we showed up with an Astros jersey.
Yes, well, not even that, but when Jose Altuve hit that walk-off home run in Game 6,
How your soul just left your body.
an inning after DJ LeMahieu tied up the game in a dramatic fashion over that right short field wall over George Springer. I almost cried that night, Lori. You have to understand. I almost cried.
I cried tears of
I
joy.
almost cried, Casey. I felt like crawling up into a 3-layer, blanket scheme for it, whatever, and just weep, because that was honestly that was even worse. But I think my heart just sunk.
Rocket, can we get a video of that? I think everyone would like to see.
Nah, I don't really have it on me. But going to the next one,
Our
and I
last
think
one.
their last one, and I think Lori's gonna enjoy saying this one.
All right, Disney Plus is better than Netflix.
I would have to say bet with that one.
Really? Did you get it?
I did. It finally worked on my phone. If you don't know, wouldn't work on my phone. Worked on my parents' phone, but not mine. So I watched a few episodes of shows on my parents' phone, but now it works. So I'm happy
All right,
with
good.
it.
Well, Lori, I think that's the question. I mean, I enjoy Netflix. Love All American. I do. Smash Brothers Scalco's hilarious specials on there. I love that too. But I really was thinking about getting Disney Plus just because they have a bundle with Hulu for $13 a month.
Really?
And the most important part, ESPN Plus. And I love me some Stephen A. I love me some Stephen A. So
Watch him from 9 to, I don't know what the hours are. I'm pretty sure it's 10 to 12 weekdays.
So
First take.
yeah,
Max Kellerman.
Max Kellerman, first take. And I'm not going to be a part of the crowd who thinks Molly Karam should go. I think she is fine. She
She
should stay where
is fine.
she
She should stay where she is.
is. She is
But
where she
with
is.
Disney Plus, I don't have it. But do they have like ESPN and stuff like that? Because I know
No.
Disney
well,
Disney
they,
owns everything.
But
So
there's
does it
like-
they
have?
do, but there's a bundle. That's what I was talking
They
about.
own like 2%
Hulu.
of the world at this
That's what
point.
I'm saying. So do they really just have like Disney
No,
movies?
it's all the Disney shows and stuff. Like,
Okay.
that you,
Then I want to say no.
but you get to rewatch all your childhood, and it's like
Yeah, but it's like
I mean, you can just
moved
yeah, but you can't relive your childhood. Like you could just like just like sit there and just like cry inside, like you know,
right,
just,
but like Netflix has got everything. They even got their own movies.
But they're taking stuff off. Like I would watch Family Guy like once a day
That's
for like
true.
a year on Netflix, and it was just gone.
Yeah, why do they do that?
I don't know, but it's now on Hulu, so I'm not complaining. 'cause
Right.
Netflix-
it's a business. They're just trying
Yeah,
to
I
make
mean,
money. They
I
really
guess
are.
at this point it's all preference
Yeah.
if you want Disney or not.
It's true. And you know what? I don't know if this is a wide popular belief, but I think that Star Wars has one of the most underrated
Okay.
stories of all time.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never seen one Star Wars movie.
I mean, I know
Although-
I know
although-
people with you, but like I've seen them all.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen most of them. Casey's more of a diehard than I am, but I enjoy them. I do, and I just think that the Star Wars story in itself is one of the most underrated stories.
Wait, no.
in all
Pretty
of
much
them.
the only
I
thing I
feel like
watch
that's
on
the
the
most
series.
overrated. Star Wars gets so much credit. It's been on.
Because it should.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
No, but it's just like about like it depends on what you see, but you could just feel it inside yourself that like this is
It's
like
hard. It's home.
All right,
Right.
Well, I'm giving you some homework. You're gonna go
Watch.
home and
Yeah.
watch one episode. Doesn't matter which one of the Star Wars movies, and come back. Give
You
us
have
a
something to say.
give us a review next episode.
I suggest
Alright, we'll start
I
with the
suggest don't watch any of any of 1, 2, or 3. Watch from 4 to 6, and then you'll understand.
There's 6.
There are none.
well, now there's 8. There's a 9th one coming out in like 2 weeks.
which I will be seeing.
Rocco, I know that we're about to end the show here, but before we do, I just want to say I'm sorry, Lori.
Why?
David Fizdale's now out
Oh,
as the coach.
my.
Yes,
God.
breaking news.
And he wasn't
Casey
4 and
just-
17, he was 4 and 18. So
Okay.
you're wrong on both fronts.
All right. Well.
Well, you're here first.
Breaking
We're
news
not
here first.
there. You're not here first because we're definitely not Fox or ESPN at all. Just want to point that out there.
Yeah.
but-
But I'm just gonna say I'm happy that they're making moves and coming back.
Yeah.
Do something.
And I think I have to agree with Stephen A. I think Mark Jackson should be put in place just because he knows the culture and he's
Just
a New
because
Yorker.
it's someone else that they can throw out.
Yeah.
he's
See
a-
what maybe trying him.
He's
see
a
what
he's a
he's
Saint
got.
he's a
They're
St.
throwing
John's
stuff to
alum.
the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Yeah. Might as well.
Well, this has been a fun hour of the podcast.
Yeah.
It has
If
been.
you watch this whole thing, you're a real one.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
are.
That
you are.
is true.
If you do. And we didn't go off topic at all this time.
Yeah.
Well, who am I
You
saying?
said that
Well,
last
good,
time.
good job, guys.
Good job. Ready to go.
Generally did good.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But we do have one more thing before we head out, and we do have to get out some of these B&B promotions we're having.
There you go.
So Casey, how do you want us to?
Buy our chocolate.
Buy our faces.
Well, that already happened.
Yeah.
They already sold the mugs. But buy our chocolate that we've
Hey.
been selling.
We could do it again if we
buy
get enough
some
people.
buy some Yankee candles. I mean, I know Mr. Bloomfield's class is want to buy Rocco. But
Yeah.
anyway, buy our chocolate, buy Yankee candles, help support B&B to DC. It's gonna be fun. over
SGN
there.
National Convention. Me, Lauren, Casey will all be there.
What do you think I'm rooming with you?
Oh God, no, I don't know.
On
I
the
don't
fly
know.
though from the hotel room?
Yeah, I
Question
think,
mark?
I think we
Oh,
might have to
question
do
mark?
that.
Question mark?
That might be something we have to put down.
We could talk about the actual conference.
True. We could. Well, it's been a fun podcast, and this has been episode 2. Lauren, Casey, thanks for joining again. And,
Thanks.
yeah.
Thanks for
See you on the
doing
next one.
Yep.
this. Bye, guys.